Elite Facts presents
Top 10 Serial Killer Souvenirs.
10.
Russian psychopath Alexander Pushkin killed at least 49 people. His goal was to kill 64 in total, the same as the number of squares on a chessboard. After the prolific hammer killer was finally arrested, police found a chessboard in his home, and all but one of the squares had a date scrawled into it. The dates in each square corresponded to those of the murders he committed.
9.
Known as the kindly killer, Dennis Nilsson was Britain's version of Jeffrey Dahmer, and he was just as prolific and grisly. He murdered young boys he'd lured to his house, then would bathe and dress their bodies before having sex with them. When Nilsson was arrested, it was because a neighbor had had her sink clogged by what turned out to be human flesh and bones that he'd tried to flush down the toilet. Investigators found multiple plastic bags in his closet, which contained 2 dissected torsos, various internal organs, a human skull, a severed head, and a torso with arms but no hands.
8.
Necrophiliac murderer Jerome Brutos had several nicknames. One was the Lust Killer, and another was the Shoe Fetish Slayer. It's the second moniker that became his gruesome claim to fame. Brutos had been obsessed with women's shoes from an early age, and when he started committing crimes, he'd often steal the shoes of the women he attacked. His crimes escalated to murder in the late 1960s, and one of his victims had her foot removed so that Brutos could put shoes on it.
7.
Long Island serial killer Joel Rifkin murdered 17 prostitutes over 3 years in the early 1990s. After being pulled over for driving without a license plate, Rifkin confessed to his murders and led police to his house. In his bedroom was a massive haul of trophies from his victims, including panties and bras, driver's licenses, jewelry, and a library card. Oh, and he had a partially decomposed body in his trunk, which he was on his way to bury.
6.
Robert Hansen spent 10 years abducting and flying women to remote areas of the frozen tundra and hunting them for sport. He killed at least 17 prostitutes, bartenders, and waitresses before being caught. When he was apprehended, he was found to have a large collection of trophies taken from the women, including numerous pieces of jewelry. He'd also funded much of his killing spree with insurance money from the fraudulent theft of actual legitimate hunting trophies.
5.
Horrible cannibal killer Jeffrey Dahmer had a side habit of keeping various parts of his victims. It started when he preserved the head and genitals of his 5th victim in acetone, and by the time he was done, he had a freezer full of heads, torsos, skin, and internal organs. He also had a lobster pot full of genitals.
4.
Texas serial killer Charles Albright had an especially gruesome trophy he would take from his victims: their eyeballs. He had taught himself to remove a body's eyeballs without disturbing their eyelids, an operation that led police to think he might have been a doctor. But he wasn't. He was just a psychopath. He was arrested in 1991, a year after his first killing, and charged with 3 murders, but only convicted of 1.
3.
Murderer Alex Mangel was a suspect in the random murder of a police officer. While being chased, he lost control of his car and crashed it into a wall. Once taken into custody, the car was found to belong to a woman who had gone missing a few years earlier. What clinched Mangel as the woman's killer was that the car contained not just 2 guns, but what police originally deemed to be a wig, but was actually her scalp, which Mangel wore as a wig when he kidnapped and murdered another of his victims.
2.
Australian serial killer Yvonne Mullet murdered at least 7 people and buried them in a forest in New South Wales. When he was finally caught, authorities found a trove of stolen camping supplies, including sleeping bags, clothes, equipment, and tents, all taken from the people that he'd brutally murdered.
1.
In terms of trophies, sadism, and sheer butchery, Ed Gein wins the prize. The notorious killer started his reign of terror as a grave robber and necrophiliac. He then moved on to murder in the late 1950s, and by the time he was caught, he had racked up an array of trophies that's still legendary. Among the horrors found at his house were a wastebasket and chairs made of human skin, bowls made of skulls, a corset made of a female torso, masks made of human faces, numerous sexual organs in a box, and a belt made of nipples.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.